Well, hello plant lovers, it is Matthew in Melbourne welcoming you to my channel. Thank you very much for finding me in the very crowded world of YouTube orchid videos. If you're new here and interested, I try to grow cold, cool, intermediate orchids here in Melbourne, Australia, without any help from greenhouses or grow lights or humidifiers or equipment, just me and them inside or outside or not at all. And the struggle is real. I am an amateur, so do take whatever I may say with a grain of salt because I really don't know what I'm doing, struggling through finding what works for me and what doesn't, and it might help you. And if you think it will, hit subscribe. I post every week on a Friday, and today, plant lovers, well, yes, here's the box. So we could assume, and you'd be right in thinking, this is an unboxing video. And I'm all dressed up with somewhere to go because I'm just about to go and weirdly moderate a discussion about something completely unrelated to orchids. But this box has arrived, so I've got to unpack it. And I thought, why not video it? Because it's been quite a while since I ordered any orchids online. So here we are, celebrating and opening it together. And if you're interested, this is the name of the company here, Red Fox Orchids. I have no relationship with those guys, but they just happen to be one of the best online sellers in Australia. And I will put the link below. They have a fairly wide range of things, including some left of field and odd things occasionally. So always worth checking out their website. And generally the plants are in amazing condition, really great size. So without further ado, let's unbox. Now, actually, with further ado, let's contextualize this. This is largely things that I've killed. So this is a box of replacements, largely plant lovers, and a few other things. But I haven't really, I mean, this is going to be a silly thing to say, I haven't really bought that many orchids. I mean, I did just buy some plants at the Orchid Species Society plant sale, but generally not. I've been trying to really focus on what works for me. And when I first began growing orchids, I was ordering things left, right, and center. It was the middle of lockdown. I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just buying things, and some worked and some really didn't. So I think in the last sort of 2 to 3 years, I've really honed down what can work for me in my current environment, which, as you might know, is a rental as we're renovating our house, and we'll be moving into it at the end of the year. So my whole environment is going to change. So I kind of know what works and what doesn't. And these are the things that I wanted to replace that I feel could, should, and will work, but I killed. Maybe we'll get to that as we open each one. So let us not mess about any further, but let us get into opening this box. And who doesn't love a box to open? It's a very large box, and it was not dropped at the front door. It was delivered to the parcel center, which I had to go to at 6 o'clock in the morning. That is dedication, plant lovers. All right, here we are. Very well packed to start with. Now, let us remove, oh my goodness, I see a flower. All right, I'm gonna change the camera angle so you can look down and see as I am unpacking. All right, here we go. Now, I will come and show you everything once we've unearthed it. Oh, wow. Here we are, here we are, here we are. Lots of plastic. Oh, single-use plastic. Right. And here is our box. Doesn't it look amazing? There are very few suppliers in Australia, I have to say, that kind of have this capacity for shipping and delivering in Australia. Much more common, I think, in perhaps the States and Europe. I think these are the only guys that kind of have this level of commercial production and shipping. Anyway, that is a very well-presented box, plant lovers. All right. First thing I can see is in bloom is this absolute gorgeous beauty here. I'm going to lift the camera up and show you. So this, plant lovers, look at that. It's like a florist. Hang on, where's the knife? I need to unsheath this one. Let's have a look. Right. Nice and moist. Hopefully not too moist. Okay. Now, not so worried about the flowers because it's really about future growth that we're focusing on. Oh, it's a little wobbly in the pot. Oh, in fact, it's very wobbly in the pot. But this is a Miltoniopsis, and you might be able to see the flower there. This is the hybrid called Lillian Nakamoto Tanto. And it has these beautiful white flowers with this very, 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 I would say, dark brown, dark purple spot in the middle. Let's remove that dead bit. Now, I did actually buy this before, and I bought it and it's quite small and it just didn't make it. So I've replaced it thinking I would be in a better place, and this is very wobbly in the pot. Anyway, healthy-ish looking plant. So what we're going to do is not repot it. I'm going to stake it, and I'm going to just try and stabilize it. Let's have a look. So there's a lot of mature moss growing around the base of the plant, which you might be able to see there. That pot size will be okay, and looking at it, I think it's in a mix of perlite and bark, small bark. So what I'm going to do, just for the time being, is just stake this and just stabilize it. Anyway, this is plant number 1, Miltoniopsis Lillian Nakamoto Tanto, which is a replacement for a dead plant, and this one is perhaps not in tip-top condition. What's next in the Christmas box? This one, as you can perhaps see, is a Catlayer. Let's unearth you. Take off this plastic shroud. And there we are. That's a very healthy looking plant. Now this one is a Cattleya called Horniana, and it's a cross between Schilleriana and purpurata. And I have a feeling that the flower was just the most beautiful sort of ivory with a purple touch to the lip. A very, very, very handsome, quite simple but quite large flower. Not kind of blousy, but much more elongated. Yes, now you can see really great roots coming out of this growth, which has flowered. So what we want with this is a new growth to be emerging. Well, it's got plenty of new roots, so there's no issue there. Very healthy looking plant, and given those roots are all active, should one so desire, this wouldn't be a bad time actually to repot this one. So in fact, I might well do that. Anyway, this is a Catlayer. I think it might be a primary hybrid between two species. I have to look further, but the most stunning flower. And as I am now the Catlayer whisperer, I'm all about Catlayers. Okay, what is next in the box? Next in the box is this baby. What is this? Let me just get rid of this plastic sheath for you. This is an Oncidium alliance plant. Look at that. Look how healthy that is. And it's got a new growth coming here, and there's a new growth there. And it is called Odontocidium Rex's Luck Firefly. And if you have a look, it is a very Oncidium looking shaped flower, but the color is really, really interesting. It's largely white with speckles, sort of a dark brown mahogany speckle and a little bit of golden orange, I seem to remember. Anyway, it was a stunning looking flower. I've never seen it in the flesh, only on a picture. And this is a very handsome looking plant. It's very, very moist, which is a good / bad thing. New growth coming there. I think this would certainly benefit from a repot, looking at that. Yes, it's in very wet sphagnum. Anyway, good plant though, nice healthy size, and this type of hybrid Oncidium alliance, this is an Odontocidium, can bloom multiply through the year for you. Basically, as each new growth cycle matures, you can get spikes. So hopefully this will be one of those. Anyway, good looking plant, definitely for a repot now. Okay, next cab off our unboxing rank. Look at this. This is a very handsome looking thing. And this is a sentimental replacement. This is something I killed through neglect, largely. Oh, it's got a flower spike too. That's very exciting. Let's get that off. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Now, this again is an Oncidium alliance plant. As you can see, it's got a spike there. Very, very vigorous looking plant. We've got a new growth here. We've got a new growth here. So happily growing, and it is Oncidium Pacific Sunrise Hakalau. Now, If you were to have a look at this, it's not, I think, perhaps the most remarkable of plants. It's a sort of a lovely tired burgundy colour, like the colour of old claret wine. Beautiful fragrance. So happens though, it is the first orchid that I ever got to flower. And I bought it as a little seedling in a plastic tube from a hardware store here in Australia called Bunnings, which you in Australia will know, when I knew nothing about growing orchids. And I had it in my previous apartment in completely the wrong conditions, not enough light, but it grew and grew and grew and was happy. When we moved here and I gave it a bit more light, it suddenly flowered for me and I was beside myself, and then thought, what's that smell? Didn't realize it was so fragrant, the most beautiful fragrance. So it always had a soft spot for me. It's the first orchid I kind of got to flower from a seedling. And then, plant lovers, I killed it. Largely, I think, through sort of familiarity bred contempt and a little bit of neglect. Anyway, I just decided I had to have it back in my life again. So here it is now, very, very healthy looking plant. I won't repot this one. It's quite happy in this pot. It's got a flower spike. It's quite stable, and I think we'll be good to go for a bit in this pot. Anyway, I want that flower spike to open just for old time's sake. After that, we can then assess. With these Oncidium types, you can basically repot them whenever they're going producing new growths, because the new growths produce new roots, and it's when those new roots are emerging that if you're going to repot it, because they're going to get into that new medium and establish the plant. Anyway, this one is a very, very healthy plant. It's probably more healthy and vigorous than my old one, which I managed to kill. Let's hope I don't kill this one. Okay, next up, yes, it is another Catlayer, and this is another replacement orchid, plant lovers. Oh, it's a good looking plant too. Oh no, but the new growth is damaged. Damn, that is very disappointing. Well, this is Catlaya Maxima. Now, I've had this twice. Made a video about the first time I had it. It flowered and it was beautiful. Catlaya Maxima is a species Cattleya, and there are two types. There's a highland and a lowland version. And the highland version can take much cooler conditions than the lowland version. This, I think, again, is the highland version. And it has the most beautiful lavender flower with very, very deep fragrance and a very elegant shaped flower too. I'll link the video so you can see what mine looked like. Mine, I managed to rot. Bought a second division, managed to rot that. In fact, I bought three. Bought a seedling, managed to kill that. Fourth time, lucky, but I don't know if you can see, but you see this is the new growth and it's been damaged and it's basically dead. So I'm going to have to remove that, I think, and encourage another new growth. That's a bit of a setback. Still, let us not worry and let us focus all our growing energy on this. I've had plants be in a similar position before, Catlayer types, and they will produce a new growth, if thus encouraged. Anyway, we'll see how we go. I really want this to survive. Not survive, thrive. And the last cab in our rank, look at that lying at the bottom. It is actually also the biggest. And this, let me unearth this for you too. Savage cut. This is another replacement. Goodness me. Look at the size of that pseudobulb. It's like a hand. Anyway, new growth. Oh, and did I notice? Yes, a flower spike in the new growth. You can just see it in there. Can you see that? This is another replacement, and yes, I made a video about this too. It is Bakerara Sea Snake, Unforgettable, Unforgettable. And it is unforgettable, even though I killed my previous one. But it is so unforgettable, I've ordered another one. Now this is one of those Oncidium Alliance mega hybrids of several different types. The most enormous, beautiful, striking flowers and a very large plant. And I just, again, perhaps familiarity bred contempt. I just put it in the wrong place and didn't give it the right conditions. Took my eye off the ball, plant lovers, and killed my other one. This is a really, really great plant. So I am not going to repot this. I'm going to see if that flower spike comes to anything. Wait until we get another new growth, which who knows when that will be, but then I might consider repotting it then. But anyway, sea snake Bakerara Sea Snake Unforgettable. A really fantastic plant, and I'm very happy to have it back in my life. Well, there we are, plant lovers. 6 plants. Bit of a mixed bag in terms of condition and expectation, I have to say. I'm very disappointed that Catlayer Maxima's new growth has been, I think, definitely damaged beyond repair. A little disappointed that Lillian Nakamoto, the Miltoniopsis, is a little wobbly, as I'm replacing the last one that I bought that was just too small and didn't have the wherewithal to survive. Anyway, these are the swings and roundabouts of buying orchids, particularly online, sight unseen, and suffering the vagaries of our postal system. Anyway, I'm very excited. It's a beautiful day at the moment. We're still having really glorious autumn weather here in Australia, so I'm going to put these outside and just give them some beautiful warmth and sunlight over the next few days to let them just acclimatise. When they've dried out a bit, because they are quite moist, I'm going to give them a watering with a diluted sea salt solution. So that's not a fertilizer, it's a tonic. And that often just helps plants overcome a bit of trauma, transit trauma, which we all suffer from after long journeys. So yes, that's what I'm going to do. And as I went through some of them, some might be up for repotting now, some definitely won't. They just need to be in this place and get used to where we are now, and then in their next growing cycle perhaps I'll repot them. Anyway, very exciting plants. I will keep you up to date as to what does and doesn't happen with some of them. I really hope Maxima makes it through the wilderness. Goodness me, I've tried so often with that plant and it's so beautiful. If you might want to know what I'm doing next week, you'll have to hit subscribe. I post every Friday. Anyway, plant lovers, thank you very much for watching. I hope wherever you are, your orchid world is full, rich, wonderful, and if you bought something, it is doing you proud. And these and I look very much forward to seeing you next week. So until then, take care.